There you go. Okay, good Woch. Motzei, Rosh Chodesh Menachem Av. That's Hashem will be zeichet to see the coming of Mashiach. Hashem before Tisha B'Av. So, Shabbos Shir, Sipur Baal Shem Tov, and then Sichos Haran. So the Baal Shem Tov says that the Kodesh Baruch Hu does not send any suffering on a person before he actually sends him the illness of Marish Chayil. In other words, depression is the precursor for Yisurim. And he said that Yira without Simcha is Marish Chayil. If you have Yira, but it's without Simcha, this is Marish Chayil. He says, it is not befitting for a person to be mitzvah avodas Hashem, how he's going to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Just be b'simcha. Do whatever it is that you do, but do it b'simcha. And he says that you don't have a greater schar than the fact that you have pleasure from the mitzvah itself, that you're doing it b'simcha. That the schar is great. In other words, Rabbeinu talks about in Torah Hay that there is two types of simchas while doing mitzvahs. One is when you do the mitzvah because you want Olam Haba. But he says there's a greater simcha, the way that a person wants to do a mitzvah, the only schar that he wants for this mitzvah, the Kodesh Baruch Hu will give him another mitzvah. He must not give him the schos to do another mitzvah. In other words, the mitzvah itself is its own reward. And there are many consequences to this particular madrega of doing the mitzvah, when the mitzvah itself is its own reward. In Torah Hey, Rabbeinu goes at great length into the fact that when your schar is the mitzvah itself, now schar mitzvah, if you want another mitzvah, the schar of doing this one, a person actually becomes one with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, because Kodesh Baruch Hu is single, is a total unity with the mitzvahs, because the Kodesh Baruch Hu and his wisdom is one thing, and Kodesh Baruch Hu and his will obviously is one thing. The mitzvahs represent what the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants, so it means it's the Kodesh Baruch Hu himself. So when a person just wants the mitzvah itself, it doesn't want any extraneous reward for the mitzvah, means that he actually becomes one with Kodesh Baruch Hu, and that person is to tremendous madrega of being able to see which parts, of this world there are judgments on, when it is before the judgment and after. It's a very deep thing in Torah Hay. But Lamaisa, what the Baal Shem Tov is saying over here is that when you are doing the mitzvah, b'simcha, because the Kodesh Baruch Hu gave you this mitzvah, and when you have the simcha from the mitzvah itself, not from any kind of reward that you get from it. As we said, the mitzvah itself is one with the Shem is Baal. So the the value of the mitzvah when you're doing it b'simcha is endless. When a person does a mitzvah and the idea is that he's doing it to have a schar in olam haba, even though it's very good, it's much better than doing, wanting schar in olam hazeh. This schar in olam haba, nevertheless, any kind of schar that a person can get, and it doesn't matter if olam hazeh and olam haba, is limited. Is limited. I mean, olam haba obviously is a lot greater than olam hazeh, but still, you are a part of a neshama, a spark, and you can get whatever you can get. But when you do the mitzvah, and your simcha is the mitzvah itself, the light that you get is infinite. It is not bound, it's not limited by your own limitations. And he says, if you don't have a greater tzchar from a person who has pleasure from the mitzvah itself when he's doing it b'simcha. And it says a tefillah, when Hashem said it's in great simcha, the vadai is more mekubal by HaKadosh Baruch Hu than the tefillah that when a person is sad and a person is crying. Now, Rabbeinu said there's a big difference between lev nishbar and sadness. It says lev nishbar, so sadness is like a person is upset with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't give me what I want. He doesn't, whatever. It's like you're bearing a grudge, kaviyachol, towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But when somebody has a lev nishbar, it's a totally different thing. This is when a person, it's like a child that wants his father to get him closer. Lev nishbar is when you come to Kadosh Baruch Hu and you're broken not because the Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't do to you what it is that he wants to do for you, but the fact that you're not close to Kadosh Baruch Hu. And look at what I'm doing. Look at where I'm at and how difficult it is for me. And I'm not able to do anything. We'll talk about this sicha a little bit later. Shem said as well. That's a different thing altogether. When you come to Kadosh Baruch Hu, you speak to him with the lev nishbar, with a broken heart, that when you're finished with that, with such as so let me say the simon that you had is very this with a lev nishbar, with a broken heart, is when you finish these berries, you get into tremendous simcha. A lev nishbar is something completely different. So they said once a balabais came to Baal Shem Tov and said, Rebbe, I cannot do great avoidance, like Tanasim or whatever it is. It's beyond me. Give me something that I can do. So I'll have olam hazeh and olam haba. So Baal Shem Tov told them, okay, the avoided I'm giving it to you that you should be happy with your lot. Oh, the Balabai said, this is very difficult. Baal Shem Tov said, yep, that's exactly what I meant. This is exactly what you need to do. Baal Shem Tov said that the rule of thumb of Veritz Hashem is be wary and stay away from depression and sadness as much as you can. It says from the pasuk in Shir Hashirim, his left is under my head and his right embraces me, that the pushing away that Kosh Baruch Hu does with his left is exactly what is the fact, is the same thing with the Kosh Baruch Hu embracing you to bring you with the right, which means that if you see that suddenly you can daven, or suddenly you can learn, you should know that this is also the hand of Kodesh Baruch Hu that is Kaviyachol pushing you away in order to bring you closer. Rabbeinu speaks about it, a few times. And he says that all the obstacles that a person meets in avodas Hashem, in anything, the truth is that all the obstacles a person sees and meets in every way, shape, or form is in order to increase his urge for that particular thing. He says because the minute you have an obstacle, the only way that you can overcome the obstacle is by forcing up the cheshek for whatever it is that you're looking for. And when your cheshek, when your urge, when your will gets greater than the obstacle will fall. You can understand it very easily, the Gashmis. When you want to do something, the more valuable, whatever it is you're looking for, the harder it is to get. What you need is willpower. Stick to itiveness. You can call it whatever or any kind of manifestation of the willpower. And when your willpower is greater than the resistance of the mania, of the obstacle falls away. Rabbeinu says not only this, but you should be aware of the fact that many times you have no idea of the value, especially on mostly Ruchnis, you have no idea of the value of this thing that you're looking for, like davening, learning Torah, going to Rabbeinu, or to break Tavis Afila, or to control the thoughts in your head, whatever it is. You have no idea of the value of these challenges. Rabbeinu says that the degree of difficulty of that obstacle is the indication of how precious it is. It's harder to make $1 million than to make $100. That's begashmis. Beruchnis, when you're looking to get close to the tzaddik, to daven the chavana, and you're running, you start and you fall, and you start and you fall, you start and you fall. That in itself is the indication of the value of whatever it is that you are looking for. So Adkan is the support from the Baal Shem Tov. Let's get to the Sichos Haran. We are in Sicha 81. We spoke already that last week that people are a great deterrent. There are big obstacles to a person, more than Yetzer Hara. Rabbeinu continues with this Sicha, and he says, Bnei Adam and Moinim Gdolim Oid. People are great obstacles. They keep a person away from Avodas Hashem very fiercely. And he says, V'da, you should know, if a person would have been alone, if he wouldn't have other people to disturb him and to keep him away from his Hashem. It's true that nevertheless you would have all the thoughts and all the obstacles and all the confusions, whatever it is. But even so, the Vada person will eventually turn himself to the way of life. It's of course self. You if you really want to Kodesh Baruch Hu himself, you get to the truth. Afilo, if a person would do an avera, chas v'shalom, b'chmon etzlan, still, bevada, you'll have great chavatim. Every time, it's himself, a person, if there aren't other people to obscure the truth from him, it's himself, he would remain by the ends. But when there are people who confuse him, in other words, when a person, chas v'chalila, gets into a group of people that they seem to themselves to be very, very smart. They have great enjoyment from their own cleverness. And he says, and they have some idea in chikiras, in philosophy, and questioning, or they are clowns, all kinds of leitzanos that people do from Dvarsha B'Kedusha. He says, this mania, this confusion is worse than all the other manias. He says, because these chokhmas, when a person gets into it, their effect is that everything becomes like it's an open road. There's no allowed, there's no also, there's no motor. Everything is do whatever you want. Through chokhmas of philosophy, and this is bevadai very mazik of the chokhmas of leitzonas. Also leitzonas of people that seems like, the Elchaim, the from people and with beard and payas is also very, very harmful. He says everything is the same thing. The chokhmas and the leitzonas, that kind of chokhmas and that kind of jokes that they have, whatever it is mamish like heresy and philosophy. In fact, this kind of jokiness, this kind of making fun, that supposedly, Frum Yidden would do, is really worse than philosophy and all that. Why? Because philosophy, people know that it's bad. So they run away from it. Most of Am Yisrael are running away from philosophy because they know that philosophy, Hashem Yerachem, is taking a person down, without hope. But that kind of chokhmah and leitzanas and jokiness, whatever it is, people don't run out because it comes out of people that seem to be kosher people. And they're sort of like they're cloaking the leitzanas with the truth, as if like, that it is allowable for me to make fun of this because whatever it is I'm making fun of should be made fun of. That's why I'm making fun of it. No, all right. So that's why a person doesn't escape from them. But that's why it's worse for a person than out and out heresy. You stay away. I don't know. You come up on anybody, any kind of experience with social media, and suddenly some kind of missionary or something comes over and start hacking your Chinese. about Yoshka Pondrik and this and that, whatever it is. You run away from a fire, just get the heck out of here. But somebody is from God. I'm one of yours. I mean, it's like just funny, it's like says these are worse because you're not guarding yourself from them. Because it seems to you like, they're kosher people. And then it says is how meritorious it is for a person to go b'derech of emes lamitoi, to be tam and yosher and yerukim, and get away from chokhmas without any chokhmas. And just I want to say, Baruch Hu, leave me alone. This is the chapter of today. To get a little bit deeper into this, it is very easy. It is very easy, to get one with people, and they have all kinds of, funny stuff, and they're making jokes of stuff and whatever it is, and it's like you feel like you're part of the group, part of the gang, part of, and this one is saying a joke, and then that one is saying something clever, and so you want to be part of the whole thing. This is worse, mamish, than philosophy, because what they do is that whenever it is that a person is being swayed to any kind of degree from where he is, what used to be, when you're looking straight, okay, so to the right, it's too much. To the left, that's not enough. Okay? But what happens is that when you are joining a group, every group has its own politically correctness of what is right and what is wrong and what is cool and what is, So what happened is suddenly your point of view veers, let's say, to the left, right? So what used to be before, what you used to know that's the right thing to do, now that's too much. And that which used to be, that's not enough. Now that becomes the okay. In other words, you're making a new zero for yourself. Stuck out. And something is really bad. Now that's not enough. But the thing is that it's not just that you have a new point of view, that a different degree of badness is considered not enough. And what used to be right is, this is just the people that are, too much. Yeah. But the thing is that once you swaying becomes okay. One of the things that people need to remember is that it's not so much that heresy leads to Averis as much as Averis leading to heresy. When you speak to somebody's OTD, off the derech, and you're asking them, how are they holding as far as the Muna goes, whatever. So you can see that they're struggling with it. They have a Muna, they believe, but whatever it is that is getting them to do whatever it is, like the personal difficulties, psychological difficulties, a need to find a place for themselves in their family. It's like a child that grows, let's say, a family that is religious. Okay. Now, the religion in that particular family can be more real or less real. But the thing is that there's always a certain level of, unless somebody is really special, but there's always a certain level of, I wouldn't say hypocrisy, but settling for some kind of a happy medium in the family, in a person's life, compromise. Now, children don't get compromises. It's either black or white. Either it's good or it's bad. What's the truth? They haven't gone through all the necessities that made them settle on some kind of what you would call a modus vivendi, sort of like a certain path that they can sort of live by. By them, listen, food is no problem, they get from the parents. Shelter is no problem, they get from their parents. So now come the questions, okay, what the truth is. They can allow themselves to be picky. It's either this or that. Now, the thing is that many times by children, the quest, the reason why they're actually driven away from the derech is not so much because they notice the hypocrisy. They notice because what can you do? People are people. But the reason for it is because they feel that their parents many times don't look at them. Their parents is too busy in keeping up a facade, keeping up a social face to all the neighbors, what part of the society. The question is, what is the conversation that is going on in the house? So you can see somebody that comes from a family that in his life he's like totally into business. Everything is money. You can get a guy that comes from a secular background, and he's looking for spirituality. How can it be that the kid that comes from a firm place, dedicates himself to money, and the person that comes from a secular place is looking for ruchnius? It's because of what he got from his parents, from the conversations that were taking place in the house, from the undertone, the subtext of what was being discussed in the house, what is really important. If a child grows up in a family, in the Shem and mitzvahs, but the thing that they're dealing on a day-to-day basis constantly is, what are we going to do with money? What are we going to do about money? We have money, we don't have money. Do this. That is the main thing. So the child, it doesn't matter what the child doesn't care, what the pretext of the whole thing is. we're religious, we're this, we're that, and you can say, you can parrot until the cows come home. The most important thing is to be a Jew and to do Torah and mitzvahs. What are they actually talking in the house? What is it? What do they really mean? Well, they're talking about money. So the child gets it. That's the important thing. On the other hand, you can have a child that comes from a totally secular background, and he feels the bereftness of spirituality, that everybody's just looking after themselves. And he can develop a great urging for spirituality. He's running away from that. It is similarly easy for a child to grow up in a house where the parents themselves are very busy in hiding the dissonance between their real level of Yiddishkeit and what they pretend to the entire world to be. Okay, and they're so busy with themselves, they're so uh, self-centered or self-preoccupied that the child feels, where am I? Hello? Why aren't you looking at me? A child needs attention. A child needs attention and he will get it, good or bad. If it's good, b'vakasha. If it's bad, whatever it takes. On the other hand, far too many parents take their children for granted. I mean, the children are small. What do you want? You just tell them what to do. What do they do? They don't do it. So the children are sort of like judged who was an easy kid and who was a hard kid. An easy kid is somebody who, whatever it is, did whatever what you told them to do, and was quiet, didn't cause you any trouble. The hard kid is the kid that demanded from you. Many, many times, it is the hard kids that obviously they get most of the attention. But the thing is, if you were to go with these, that hard kid, quote unquote, with his parents to psychologist or whatever, and you ask the kid, what is your complaint? What's your problem? The child will say that I never get anything from my parents. They never pay any attention to me. And the parents look at him like, what? We may have like 5 or 6 children. 80% of the attention you get. 20% is for everybody else. So why does a child feel like he's not getting attention? The answer is because it's not attention that he is given. It's attention that he demands, that he takes. And whenever it is that you take by force, you never feel like you're given. You never feel like you're given. Hold on just 1 second. Let me just. And so as we said before, when attention is demanded, you never feel like you're getting anything. You took it. You never got it. So there you go. a child feels that he's not getting attention. He feels that his parents are two-faced. They don't care about him, whatever it is. So you want everybody to think that she is like so cool, that you're so from, you so that. Okay, I will show you. It doesn't come in so many words, so I'll go to the park on Shabbos and I'll smoke. And people will see. And it says, you see them? Okay, now everybody will know what a tzaddik you are. Because what an embarrassment is this. The whole idea is look at me. Look at me. Take a look at me. And then they're with friends, likewise friends. They didn't lose their emunah. But as you get along, going to the park smoking, then smoking other stuff, and doing other stuff. And what happens is that the deeds bring about the apikoros, the loss of emunah. The same way that doing mitzvahs brings emunah, doing averos takes away. And after a while, they go like, they don't even know what the heck you're talking about. I'm a good person. I understand what you want. I'm an open person. You are like closed-minded, and I'm an open person. There's so much of there. It's just everything was lost. Bad company is harder on a person than is on its own. That's already so you know what's right, what's wrong. Okay, so he got you off the track, and you're going on the track, off the track, you're going on the track. But when you're in a whole group of people that everybody's together and everybody's like, each one is propping up in his bad way, you're losing sight of what's right and what's wrong. And at the end, the whole thing is just an open race. We're getting now into the 9 days. There was in Yerushalayim, one of the famous kings that, he did tshuva at the end, but it's Menashe. He actually put a statue of Avodah Zarah in Beis HaMikdash. But that's not just all. The thing is that the statue was moved. It was so huge, it was moved from one end of the town into the Beis HaMikdash and back every single day. It was so heavy, it was so huge, that in order to get it to where it was supposed to be, the Gemara said that practically 1,000 people died every single day just doing the move. The Gemara says the greatest sin that he did was not so much the fact that he killed people, listen to this, but the fact that he made life cheap. Killing people became nothing. And Hitler's Yamach Shemay's Germany, the Germans didn't understand what's so wrong. What's wrong with, in the concentration camps, the doctors over there said, but they were supposed to die. That's the whole point. They didn't even see, like, what? What are you talking about? It becomes a collective mentality. In collective mentality, there's no end to the atrocity. There's no end to heresy. There's no end to going off the deep end. That's what happened in Beis Hamikdash. People got together and became an accepted thing. That immorality is the norm. If you're against it, you're being closed-minded, and you are something phobic. It's like being anti-Semite. Okay, that's not a bad, but being against immorality, whoa, that's Shem should help us. B'ezrat Hashem, we will keep on talking about Yerushalayim as we're getting closer to Tisha B'Av. Mitzvah Hashem, this coming Monday, in Spur Macy's. And on Thursday, that Hashem will dedicate to Tisha B'Av altogether. What to do, how to do it, whatever. We'll decide what to do. Maybe Motzei Shabbos will speak again, about Tisha B'Av itself. We'll see. So, B'ezrat Hashem, I'll see you all. Thank you for being here. And B'ezrat Hashem, I'll see you all on Monday. Be much on everything you do. Take care.